Good evening, everybody. It's been a long time since I've done one of these type of shows where it is a Q&A session for all of you guys out there to ask me anything that you actually want to ask me. And I will start off by first just summing up what has happened in the cricketing world, in the cricketing space today, of course, because there has been quite a few fixtures that took place. Obviously, the 4-day competition is heading towards the climax of it, the end of it, of course. And I think that it's becoming quite exciting. There's one finalist has been already confirmed with regards to. Oops, let me just do this. Is the light right? One has been already confirmed, and I was at the game today to obviously experience it at Newlands. There's a real revolution happening at Newlands at the moment with a new sponsor, etc. And so I'm hoping that's going to change things around quite a bit. So today's show, we're going to start off with maybe some topics, and then I'll be going into your questions that you guys will be asking me in the live chat. And let's get into today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, we are 500 away from uh, 5,000 subscribers. So we are nearing that milestone, the next big milestone for us on the channel. And so help us get there by subscribing and click that notification bell to get notifications of when we go live and all videos that we upload onto the channel as well. I'd also like you guys to please download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And we are trying to change the industry of marketing by helping out smaller businesses. This is something that's going to be quite revolutionary, I believe, because if we can help smaller businesses market their business effectively and affordably, and be particularly in the cricket business, we can really start making a change within the cricket space, particularly in South Africa. So we're really trying our best to do that at the moment, and we're looking for a couple of clients to work with. So if you know of any businesses out there that are looking to market their business and can't afford the massive budgets that the massive prices that other bigger media companies ask for, then please send this to those people that you do know, entrepreneurs, startups, and small businesses. And the link is on the screen right now as well as in the description. So get that to them straight away. Having some issues with this blooming light. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. So anyway, so let's get straight into today's show. I'm looking forward to discussing this with you guys and seeing what questions you guys have had to ask. And let's begin with the summary of everything that has happened in today's cricketing world. A very good evening. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your daily show, your Q&A session. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where I answer your questions, but also we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket as well. There is a couple of things that I want to discuss, so let's get straight into it. We know that the 4-day competition is nearing the end, and the first finalist has been confirmed, and that is Western Province. They have an opportunity now to win 2 trophies this season after picking up the one-day cup as well. They were completely dominant against the Dolphins. It was a little bit surprising for me because the Dolphins are coming off an incredible form. But I feel that the approach that the Dolphins took in this particular match wasn't like what I expected. They needed a draw to basically confirm that they would be in the final. And their approach to their first innings wasn't that great. I mean, they batted quite quickly, so they obviously were trying to get the runs as quick as possible and try to get the win. And what ended up happening is they were batting at almost 5 and over yesterday, and then they suddenly lost 5 wickets quite quickly, trying to go for it. Bryce Parsons scored 44, Marcus Ackerman of 44 of 54 balls, and Marcus Ackerman scored 45 of 59 balls. Bryce Parsons, sorry, 44 of 54 balls. And they were going, but they just kept losing wickets. And then today, Western Provinces cleaned them up completely. It was some incredible fast bowling from Bjorn Hendricks, Nande Berger, Carl Simmons as well, doing some damage. But Carl Simmons was the star of the show because they obviously only scored 202 runs all out, and they were sent into bat again to follow on. And they were bowled out for 131, and Carl Simmons took a 7 for. So it was an absolutely fantastic performance from the spinner. 7 for 39 in his 15.4 overs. Nandre Berger and Bjorn Hendricks took the other wickets, and they just completely dominated the Dolphins. The Dolphins had no answer. I thought they would maybe try and block it out as best as possible, as long as possible, but unfortunately, they just couldn't handle the pressure. They couldn't handle the bowling from the Dolphins team, and yeah, they were bowled out for 131, and the Western Province got maximum bonus points that they could have had. Everything that they could have done to try and secure a home final, they did. But we have to wait now for the Lions and the Titans match and see what takes place over there. It's looking like it will probably be a Western Province versus Lions final in at the Wanderers. The Lions are currently playing a really good game against the Titans. That game will most likely be a result. They only need 50 runs to win, and they ended the day on 111 for three after the Titans were bowled out for 226 in their second innings. The Titans had a good performance from, I would say, only Sibs Makanya, 69 of 102 balls. He was the one that stuck in there. But they were bowled out for 226, and it was Cody Yusuf that took 4 for 81, and Delano Potgieter that took 3 for 47 in this match. And Luto added to his bowling with 1 for 46. But Bjorn Fortuin, excellent, 11 overs, 1 for 18 as well. So he also needs to get some praise for his performance as well, doing a great job in containing the Titans team. And then the DP Lions went out to bat, and Richards couldn't match his previous performance of obviously getting a century in the previous innings. Dominic Hendricks lost his wicket to Bosch. Wandile Makweto lost his wicket to Dala, but it currently is Ryan Rickleton and Vian Mulder at the crease. Both players, I feel, probably pushing for a Proteas spot. There is Proteas spots, I feel, up for grab in the test side, and both of those players are trying to push for those positions in the side, those last maybe two, I would say, positions. I think if you're going to bat with seven, it's very important in the test team. And I've been thinking about this for quite some time now. I've had a couple of days to think about it. I spoke to Coach Shukri at the ground as well, getting his thoughts. And he really made me think about things. Maybe he made me think about things a little bit differently as well with regards to, I always learn something when I speak to him. And I learned today, I learned that understanding of the importance of having a balance in the side. Now, when you're batting, when you want to pick 7 batters in the side and you want to have a 7-4 split, what ends up happening is you kind of only bowling with 3 out and out bowlers. Well, in certain cases, and what happens in the end is if you're going to pick the full 7 batters right through, if you're going to pick 7 proper batters, and then obviously you only get 4 bowlers to pick from, 1 all-rounder and then 3 bowlers to pick from. But the importance of having all-rounders that are batting all-rounders in a side like that is so crucial, because you got extra overs that you can also get in there, and it makes it a lot easier then for you to pick your 8, your 9, your 10, and 11. So I'm starting to think a lot about who can play that number 6 role for South Africa, because I think that 6, 7, 8, you could pick bat bowlers that can bat right down that order. If you have a 6 that can bowl or 7 that can bat, a batter obviously at 6 that can bowl, and then or 7 that can bat, bowler that can bat at 7, you're really you're really covering all your bases with regards to the the team, and having a balance is so important, I think, in a test team. So the way Van Mulder's been playing recently, he's really the only one that I can really think of that has put up his hand as a potential number six, perhaps for the Proteas, or number seven, that can come in there if you want to play Calverain a little higher up, of course. And another person that you could probably think of right now that's doing that did well in New Zealand, for example, is Ruanda Swart, but that 118 kilometers per hour bothers me a little bit. It concerns me slightly that he only bowls 118 kilometers per hour, but he showed some fight with a bat, and I think the fight is what we attracted to more than anything else, I feel. And another person that we could think of that has been in the setup before is Senator Mutasami. Actually, Mutasami is very underrated, I feel, as a player. He's a player that Coach Shukri has backed before, and I don't think he gets a lot of recognition for the hard work and toil that he puts in at Northwest when he does have an opportunity to play. He did really well in the T20s as well for the Capitals, I think it was, and he's really been showing his ability with the bat. Uh, so it is something that's pretty cool that's happening with his career. He's really starting to move his career on and starting to show what he can do. Michael Pretorius has also been very impressive with the bat, but I don't know where he stands with regards to future Proteas opportunities. I don't really know where he is sitting currently with regards to national call up, or what his thought process is with regards to that. And he's been one of the top run scorers this season, and he's really actually doing very well, I think. And it's something that we need to also maybe consider down the line as well. I think he's doing something fantastic at the Northwest since he's come back and played full time in South Africa. So that balance, those all rounders that can bat, are so crucial, I think, to the future of South African cricket, and helping the Test coach obviously pick players that can balance out the side. I think is so important. When I look at the table, for example, the stats and the stats currently, um, and who, oops, and who's topping the standings at the moment. So obviously Tristan Stubbs' 300 that he scored yesterday propelled him to the top of the table, and he's currently sitting on 500 runs, 500 plus runs. I think 500 and let me just check here quickly. He's on 562. Marcus Ackerman is on 533. But when I look down this order, Pretorius is the one that bowls out of all of these guys, and he scored 478 runs this season. He averages 47, 450s and 100 this season. He's already have. And then I look further down, and Rian Mulder pops up on the list as well. He's also been really good. He's averaging 66. He has 200s and 250s this season, and is batting at a decent strike rate as well. And his high score obviously of 141. So that's another person that we can throw into the mix that perhaps can balance out that side if you're going to play with seven batters in a team. I don't think there is any out and out batter that you'd pick, because if you do so, then you're batting till seven, and then you only have four seamers or four bowlers, three seamers and one spinner, and no extra overs from anybody else. So it's very important that you pick your guys wisely to get that balance in the side. If you can bring in an extra all rounder and have 6 and 7 and 8, or 6, 8, and 9 as an all rounding option, that guys that can offer something with the bat, like for example Marku and then Keshav, then you're really sitting in a very good space when it comes to selection and building a squad. So I was just thinking about that today, and balancing sides and how important that is. So when it comes to this 4-day competition, it is looking likely that it's going to be a final between the Lions and Western Province. So it's going to be exciting, interesting final to watch. It's two top quality teams, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens there. But let's get into the Q&A session. I see some comments and questions already coming through. Aditya says, how is Aiden Markram as a person? Now, if you've been following this channel for quite some time, you've seen that myself and Aiden have a very a good professional relationship. He's come on the channel quite a bit. We've interviewed him quite a lot on the channel, and I've gotten to speak to him off the field and behind the scenes as well. To be honest with you, sitting here talking to be honest about his personality, literally what you see is what you get with Aiden Markram. I haven't seen any fakeness from him as a cricketer when he's sitting in a press conference. The way he portrays himself there and the way he portrays himself off the field when the cameras are off, the same. He doesn't change. He's humble. He's confident, but he's extremely humble, and that is he has a way of being humble while still being confident in his ability and the team's ability, which is something that is a very important skill to actually have when you're as a human being, literally. I don't think there's one person or one cricketer that I've ever heard speak badly about Aiden, to be honest with you. Speaking to cricketers in this game, I haven't really heard anybody say anything bad or coach say anything bad about him. Very competitive, hard on himself, but also extremely humble. And that is something that people need to know about him. Bring Aiden on the show. I have asked him. I'm waiting for a response from him. He is, generally speaking, when he takes some time off, like some of the guys have taken some time off. Some of the Proteas guys that played S20 have taken some time off. They generally just switch off their phones and they don't get bothered in this period. So it will be quite difficult to get hold of those guys, those Proteas players. The ones that are currently in the 4-day competitions and playing cricket at the moment, it might be a little bit easier for me to get hold of them. So let me know who you'd want me to interview from the guys that are as well, or the SAA guys that maybe went to New Zealand if you want me to do that. Priyanshu says, do you think Virat Kohli is the greatest of all time? Wow. I'm a big Virat Kohli fan. I've admired his ability for a very long time. And he is an exceptional player. I think possibly if you throw your T20 cricket into the mix, you could possibly say that, because other greats, like the likes of Kallis, likes of Tendulkar, the likes of those guys, not too many T20s under their belt. They played T20 cricket when it was still up on the rise and not when it was in its prime. And Virat Kohli has completely dominated the T20 game currently, internationally and for his franchise in the IPL. Unfortunately, not winning any trophies in the IPL with RCB. But I think Virat Kohli as a cricketer is phenomenal, and I think he will go down as one of the greats because he's been able to play a fantastic game in Test cricket, in ODIs, in T20. It doesn't matter. He shows his class in all three formats and adapts his game accordingly. He's adapted to the times too. And I think that's also so important. He's been able to play in the older generation, towards the end of the older generation, and come into the modern era too, and adapt his game towards the way the game is being played today. So I definitely think he would go down as one of the greatest of all time. But me being sucker of obviously international cricket, and obviously I loved international cricket and particularly Test cricket. Tendulkar was phenomenal. But then again, you look at the Australians, Ricky Ponting and all of those guys, the way they played the game, the test game as well, the dominance that they showed. You can't rule out any Australians. So it's very difficult for me to pick one player as the greatest of all time, because what makes the greatest of all time? It's difficult in any faculty, because every player plays the game differently. They have different styles and they have different achievements and they have different approaches to the game. So it depends on what you like personally and what type of cricketer you enjoy watching. So that's a difficult. I'm gonna sit on the fence with that one. I'll put him down definitely as one of the greatest of all time, hands down. Aditya says, will Aiden Markram become Sunrisers Hyderabad captain, or Pat Cummins will replace him? I don't have a clue what's going to happen with regards to that. Aiden is now captained the Sunrisers Eastern Cape to 2 trophies. So does that hold anything? That must hold something when it comes to that. I think that's something that we need to think about. Um, Pat Cummins, though, has won a T20 World Cup. So do you? I think Pat Cummins will probably take that one because I mean he's captain the T20. He's captain the team to a ODI World Cup now, um, and he's been part of a T20 World Cup as well. When was he the captain of that team? I can't remember, but he's been a World Cup winning captain right now, so he has to be in the mix, and he probably will get that position. Kani says Carl Simmons, Mulder, and Pretorius are performing in both departments. 100% they are. Those are guys that I think Carl Simmons is quite an underrated player. I'm surprised to not. Okay, I'm not surprised because his career has really only started rising recently over the last 2 3 seasons, I think, because the problem with Carl Simmons in the Western Province team is he only really played when George Linder wasn't available or when they played two spinners, because if they're going to play in Kingsmead, for example. So the unfortunate thing is that he only played when George Linder wasn't available. Like George Linder is not currently available; he's playing T20 cricket. So the opportunity for Carl Simmons to come in is always there when George is missing. But what I admire about Carl Simmons is that whenever that happens, he performs, and he never disappoints the team with regards to that. He's always effective. So yes, he can be more consistent with the bat, though. I do believe that he can bat much better than he's been doing this season. He hasn't necessarily been fantastic with the bat this season. Uh, that's the one area where I feel he's lacked a bit. He's only averaging 36. He only has 150. But he does his job, and he does crucial work for the team, and that's important. Very crucial to them getting into the final as well. You got play of the match in this match, in a match between Western Province and the Dolphins. And I'm surprised that they capitulated against spin like that, because I mean they should be used to it, because whenever they're playing Kingsmead, the ball's turning square and they always win their matches. Khalid, Michael Patron is one of the top highest run scorers this season. Yes, he is. Michael Patron is a good backup for Janssen. That's possibly could be. Hello, Khalid, bro, and everyone. Hello, Wakas. Welcome to the show again, bro. Uh, Kani saying, what are our chances of us making the WTC finals? It's a tough one because we started off at number 3 and then we lost to New Zealand badly. So it has pushed us down the order. But with West Indies coming, Bangladesh coming, we I don't know if that can propel us or not. Um, it will depend on other results too. I haven't really looked at the table, to be honest with you. Kani, Khalid, with Berger, Kutsia, Janssen, Bartman, Williams, and Nokia coming through the ranks, do you think KG will make the T20 World Cup squad? He has been underperforming in T20s for a long time. It will be very bold from Rob Walter if he decides to drop KG. Because KG did a decent. Um, I mean, he wasn't terrible in the SA20. Um, he had some games where he was really bad, and then he had some games where he was really good. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs in the IPL this season, because he used to be great in the IPL, and he was always one of the top wicket takers. But in the this season, he just been getting 2 wickets here, 1 wicket there, being quite consistent. He's been quite consistent with his um with getting those twos and ones. But in his last stint, like 1 2 3 4, in his last 5 games or so, he was quite expensive. Um, he went for 38, 42 runs against uh, the Royals. Then he went for 38 runs against the Royals again, and then 33 runs against my Cape Town, and then 26 runs, 2 for 26 against Eastern Cape. But then he went again for 38 runs versus Super Kings, and then 2 for 32 against the Capitals. And then in his last game, he went 1 for 24 against the Capitals. So it is something that is he hasn't been really lighting up the T20 stage. He's just been doing a job consistently consistently for the teams that he's been playing for. So I still think he gets into the team. But yeah, I mean, Kutsia didn't play any T20 SA20 games, so which was a bit crazy. Um, I think he might be injured though, so I think that might be perhaps the reason. But we've got an abundance of talent coming through when it comes to our bowling attacks. I think Otniel Bartman is definitely someone that the coach needs to look at 100%. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Lazard Williams has already been looked at. Nokia, it's going to be tough for Nokia um, to come back from this injury. So I'm hoping to see I'm waiting to see what happens because he's been getting recurring injuries, and this back injury at the stage is also quite dangerous to have. So it's going to be interesting to see. They need to think about it because they're the bowling attack quite well. Because I feel that the games before the World Cup was going to be important, but KG has this X factor and experience. He could easily come off with you in a World Cup. So it's hard to drop a player like KG because he can do some miraculous things. I think the way they should um, play in this World Cup this time around, the pitches are all going to be unfamiliar. Not a lot of people are going to know what the conditions are going to be like in America. So what I think they should do is maybe rotate their bowlers a bit in the World Cup. I think that would be the smartest way to do it. I think KG just plays too much cricket on the trot, and it can tire you out. I think they need to really rotate their bowlers and make sure that they have depth with regards to their bowling attack. Grenade says Khalid, Rassi van der Dussen does not seem to be considered for the test team now. Why is this? I I just feel that Rassi Rassi hasn't played 4-day cricket in a while either. So that's also something that will probably be one of the reasons as well. But he hasn't necessarily lit up the test arena either. And with a guy like Rassi at his age, he kind of needs to come in and dominate immediately. There's no time for him to settle in and get chances after chance after chance. He's already 35 years old. And I think that it's time now for us to move on and give some of the younger guys opportunities. He's currently playing in a T20 competition um, in Pakistan. He scored a 54 2 days ago. And he's becoming more of a white ball player for South Africa. And I think that's the right decision currently towards the end of his career. Test cricket, I think there's others that can do the job and do the job better currently. I mean, some of the players that have been selected have been outperforming him even in the 4-day arena when he did play. We have moved on from Rassi and Test. We should. And I think it's a good idea. Tariq Samuddin says, thoughts on Stubbs for Test? 100%. I've always been a fan of Stubbs. Now, I've been wanting him to be integrated into the Test side. But me personally, I was looking at the season and then at the end of the season, trying to decide what they're going to do with him. So that was my first preference. But Coach Shukri already saw what he liked in the player, and already gave him his debut against India in difficult conditions. And I don't think that's fair. I think that Tristan is one of the most complete batters in the country when it comes to his all-around game. I've been saying this actually for quite some time, because when people were asking me about Dewald Brevis and Tristan Stubbs, a lot of people were asking me between the two players. I always said that I feel Tristan Stubbs' game is a lot further than someone like Dewald. And I'm a big fan of Dewald too. And I like his style of play, and I like the way he plays cricket. But I feel that Tristan Stubbs understands his game a lot better. He has an all-round 360 game. I mean, if you're going to say the next 360, Tristan Stubbs plays a more 360 game, I feel, currently than someone like Dewald Brevis. He really understands his game, and I think it's time now that we go with someone young and back him. We've been saying it for years. I mean, on this channel, that we want to see a transition with youngsters being given opportunities that can play for the next 5 to 10 years. Coach Shukri is doing that now, so it baffles me why people are still criticizing his selections, etc. Um, I can understand if you want to criticize certain selections. It's totally fine. I mean, that's what uh, everybody has the right to their opinion. But I feel when he gives a youngster opportunity, I think we should rather not. I don't think we should criticize too much because I think that nobody else in this cricket space um, has the knowledge that Coach Shukri has when it comes to the younger players. He's been a part of every level in South African cricket. Like he worked as a coach, emerging side, high performance, SAA side, under 19 side. He's worked in domestic cricket in South Africa. He literally knows every single level of cricket in South Africa. Like, if you want to say anything about Coach Shukri, the one thing that you can't criticize is that he's done the hard yards at every single level in South African cricket. In South African cricket, he's literally worked in every position. So no one has a better understanding of the youngsters, their mentalities, their techniques, where they're at with their game, what their attitude is like, how their heart is, than him. And I trust him wholeheartedly when it comes to the younger players and who he picks when it comes to the younger players. And I think Tristan Stubbs, I he has definitely has the talent and the ability. And I don't think he should be judged on the India tour because everybody performed poorly in India against India. I mean, the only one that really performed well was Aiden Markram and David Bedingham. The rest really struggled. So let's see. I believe that he should be in Test cricket. Ahmed says, Khalid, brother, do you have any idea about how the coaches will manage the workload of the Proteas leading to the T20 World Cup? We haven't had an opportunity to talk to Rob yet and ask him. So I don't have any idea what they're going to do with him because they've got IPL as well. They've got that T20s that are taking place. Every time I have to go bloody look at the FTP because I can't remember it offhand. Um, there's too many fixtures that I have to remember. So let me just go double check everything again. I also heard something about, like, for example, one of the grounds in, like, in America, they haven't even built it yet. Stadium. Crazy. Just want to check something quickly, guys. Just bear with me. So I just want to check this out. We are obviously playing against. We tour the West Indies in May, and then it's the T20 World Cup. So there's only 3 T20s there. But there's the IPL before that as well. So I don't know how they're gonna. I don't think it's necessary for them to manage their workloads. To be honest, I think there's enough. A lot of them have taken off now, and taken a break. So the IPL starts on the 22nd of March. So I think that's going to probably be the hardest for them. But then I feel they get enough break between that and the West Indies series. It's only 3 T20s, and then it's the World Cup. So I don't think there needs to be too much management of them. They're getting quite a big break now. None of them are really playing 4-day cricket. So only the ones that haven't really played any cricket are playing 4-day cricket. Aditya saying, should Aiden Markram open in ODI and T20, or you think he's good in the middle order because he is a natural opener? He's opening in Test and he's doing good. I think he should stay where he is. Hi, Lorenzo. Khalid, I didn't catch the show last night, but saw it this morning while getting ready for work. You said that you are skeptical about Rickleton's technique, but he has a better technique than Kyle Verreynne. Not at 4-day cricket, though. Um, in 4-day cricket, and this is what baffles me, guys. In 4-day cricket, I watch Carl play, and Carl's technique is like I watched his 100 now against the Dolphins. The way the guy was moving his feet, the solid forehand foot defense, even playing off the back foot, the shots that he was playing, he looks like a completely different player. His technique looks so solid domestically. Ryan does play a little bit looser in domestic cricket, and he plays the same way internationally. But for some reason, and I don't know what it is, and Kyle doesn't, I don't think Kyle believes that that's the case, because when I asked him a question, when I interviewed him after the One Day Cup final, he said there's nothing wrong with his technique. He backs his technique, but I can, by the eye, it seems like he changes the way he bats internationally. Like he plays way more off the back foot, plays a lot later, where he's more adaptable. Like the way he changes things up. He doesn't only play off the back foot and with soft hands in domestic cricket. Like we were speaking about it in the press box while we were watching the game, and I was like, "Geez, this looks like a different player that we see in the Test arena." So yeah, Lorenzo says the reason why I bring it up is that I know you and I back Kyle Verena while others are not. But why can't Rix be backed? And let's be honest, he should never be been dropped in the first place. I don't. It's not that I don't think that Rix should be backed. Um, for me, I think it's got to do with balance of the side. So, like I said earlier in the show, the importance of having a number 6 or a number 7 that is a batter that can add more some overs is important. So I don't think that I don't know whether Ryan Rickleton can bat in the top 3 or 4 in Test cricket quite yet. I think if he comes into the side, he bats at 6, or as a keeper if he's the keeper at 7. In a 7-4 split. And when you look, if you take a look at Tristan Stubbs' technique and the way he plays the game, and take a look at Ryan Rickleton's technique and the way he plays the game, I would say that Tristan Stubbs is ahead of him with regards to technique and his ability when it comes to the 4-day arena. Scoring a triple century, I don't care who the bowlers were. The ability to be able to score a triple century and maintaining that consistent, that concentration is no easy feat. And I have to have the same levels of energy when it comes to players scoring 300s, like I did with Tony DeZorzi. So I can fully understand why Coach Shukri would want to back someone like Tristan Stubbs. Now, let's see what they do with regards to that. Rickleton could possibly, if he could get an opportunity in some games. I don't know when. I don't think we play enough Test cricket, but there's difficult decisions that need to be made, and the coach needs to make those decisions. But for me personally, currently, when I looked, when I've watched the games that Tristan Stubbs has played this season, he's really, really impressed me. And last season, he was decent as well. So I think he's putting some decent performances in both games, um, in both seasons, and I like his all around game personally. You know, I guess that's going to be the case with certain players that you will probably that you're gonna prefer. And there are some concerns with regards to what Ryan showed in the Test arena when he played. Um, I think I would like to see how he can adapt his game, Ryan, to different conditions, etc. He's extremely good, extremely good player. Um, I think I spoke about Stubbs last season. Sorry, this is Stubbs' oh shit, this is Stubbs' first season. Is it? In 4-day cricket. I don't see him on this list here. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a bold move if they're going to play him now, obviously, because it's only his first season. Um, I mean, it should be between Ryan and I guess it should be between Ryan and Tristan. Um, it's difficult for me as a player to, because I like Ryan's mentality that he shows domestically as well. When he's been, oh, he did play last season. He played 2 games last season. Yeah, but that doesn't really count. Tristan. For me, it's going to be on preference. 100% going to be on preference and what we like to see. Um, it's going to be a tough decision. Probably easy decision for the coach, but for me personally, to pick between the two, because I do like Ryan Rickleton and what he does domestically. Um, but I do also think that Tristan is a little ahead of Ryan with regards to his all round game, based on what he's shown this season. But that can all be different next season. You don't know what's going to happen. Your top 3 for the T20 World Cup. Ask me difficult questions tonight, guys. Yes, yes. Top 3 for the T20 World Cup. Mm, Quinny and Riza to open, obviously. I would give Matthew Brzezinski a shot at 3. Um, I liked what I saw from him in the T20s, in the SA20. 4, I'll go with Aiden Markram. I mean, you guys know where I sit with Ryder, so I'm concerned that he's maybe only going to score in 1 game for us, or 2 games maybe. And I want to see a little bit more consistency in the number 3 role. Um, like at number 3, for example, for me, it's either Ryan Rickleton or Matthew Brzezinski, a newbie. I would like to see a newbie at 3. And then Aiden at 4. I think 5 will be obviously Klaassen and Miller. Um, but the top 3, that would be my top 3 probably. Oh, Tristan Stubbs. Yo, Kani, this is a good team here I'm looking at. Um, don't think people are out to critique Shukri just for the sake of it, but let's not act like he hasn't made baffling decisions. Sorry to bring up, but Pouch again, but he got hounded for his decisions. That true. Kani says, Khalid, any new players to watch out for in CSAT 20 Challenge with IPL player going off? But you must see some of the comments, guys, on Facebook. Lawrence, you must see some of the comments on our Facebook page about Coach Shukri. He's getting hammered all the time on Facebook, way more than what Poucher got hammered, to be honest. Kani says, Khalid, any new players to watch out for in the CSAT 20 Challenge with the IPL players going off? I haven't seen the squads of the CSI T20 Challenge, of course, so I can't really tell you. But I was like, a lot of the guys that you would have seen in the SA20, you'll probably see here, like the Tristan Stubbses. Oh no, Tristan's going. Is Tristan in the IPL? Flip, guys, I am all over the show today. I think like the Jordan Hermans, the Matthew Beardskis, yeah, Tristan Stubbs is, so he was bought by the Delhi Capitals. So he's going off, so we're not going to get to see him. Donovan Ferreira got picked up as well. So we're not going to see him. But the guys that you saw that are not going to the IPL, those are the guys that we're going to probably that played well in the SA20, obviously, are the ones to look out for. But I must say that look out for someone like a um, Mitchell van Buren and Ronan Herman. Um, sorry, Ruben Herman. Ronan, no, Ronan. Sorry, Ronan Herman. Who have another chance to show what they can do in T20 cricket. Perhaps David Bedingham will show something if he does play in the CSA in the T20s for Western Province. I think if Daniel Smith gets selected, it's another player that I think is quite all round in his game. Uh, Matthew Boast didn't get an opportunity in the SA20, someone that could also be looked at. There are a few that off my head, but I would like to see the squad first, and then I'll be able to tell you. Lorenzo says Riza is absolutely smoking the bowlers in the PSL, and that's why he's in my team in the top three. Kani's Mulder is piling up runs in every format. Very difficult not to consider him for selection. It's true. Lawrence says you won't know that because he was never afforded the opportunity to bat in the top four for SA. But we saw him bat lower, and he had those technical issues. That's my problem. For what Ryan has done in the past 3-4 years in domestic cricket is crazy, to be honest. I don't think he should be disregarded. I think that he should get an opportunity. Um, but I'm asking you now, if you have to pick your top six, and it's between what will where would you fit him in then? Do you think that he should be picked over Stubbs in the test team? Is there any chance for A side to tour India? It would help much the players in the pipeline. Lawrence says, for me, it's between Kyle and Ryan for the wicketkeeper spot. Tristan is in the team on under that wicketkeeper spot. Okay, so it's between. So there we go. So it's Coach Shukri. The best thing Coach Shukri can probably do is pick Kyle Ryan in the squad then as a backup keeper. I don't see them both playing because you are probably going to want to balance the side up with the extra all rounder. And because it can in West Indies, you're going to need a bowl. Kani says no Stubbs played some games two games. I checked that out. Carl Ryan Bedder's piled up runs for a number of seasons where Stubbs is based on one season. Lorenzo says, I don't mind it being Stubbs' first season as he's been playing international and Western World Cup cricket for 2 years now already. Yeah. Lawrence, how many chances are we giving players? Kyle is on almost 20 tests and still hasn't cut it. So when are we looking at others? Shukri got some bold calls to make. He does. It's going to be between Kyle and Ryan for that wicket-keeper spot if there's going to be any spot that's going to be up for grabs. Did we already forget about Donovan Ferreira? I haven't forgotten about Donovan Ferreira. He should be in the T20 squad, I feel. Riley ain't making my team. I have Bretsky or Rick at 3. Oh, same as me. Riza, Kuntakok and Riley for me. Says Lorenzo, we need that X Factor player at 3. Yeah, I agree with the X Factor thing. But when your X Factor scores 1 in every 8 games, is it really an X Factor then? That's my concern. Lawrence says can also push Markram up to 3 and have Stubbs at 4. That's also a possibility. That could also be a great lineup. Lena says, I'm a fan of Riley, but he was not good in form. SA20 he will have to do well in the PSL, IPL to get the World Cup squad. And he didn't do that well in the World Cup either. Lorenzo, someone like Pat Kruger could be a dark horse for SA in the white ball stuff. Pat Kruger is someone to look out for, yes. Someone that did well in the SA22. Sadiq and Al-Khali, my question is regarding David Bellingham and possibility of him being in ODI squad. I mean, he had a ODI or a one-day cup campaign, not the best of one-day cup campaigns. I can see him playing ODI cricket or 50 over cricket as well. But I think the question will be for who. That will be the big question. I think perhaps if someone like Klaasen moves on, but Klaasen is different. He adds something more to the number 5 spot than other players do that. He's like, it's like almost like having two number six batters almost the way he performs and bats. Um, Aiden at three possibly. Um, I think in ODI cricket, uh, Aiden could open in. I feel in ODI cricket. Riza in ODI cricket hasn't necessarily been the greatest, and I don't think his spot in ODI cricket is 100% solidified. Um, but we need another opening batter in with Quinton de Kock having gone to play with Temba Bavuma. Um, I would have Stubbs and Ryan fighting for test wicket keeper spot. Betters in for Rassi, Siskani. Oh, that's a option. I didn't think of that. It could be an option. But I mean, Rassi, yeah, could be an option. And Lawrence, where do we stand on Quinton de Kock? Because I didn't like what I saw during SA20. Looked like he falls into that careless play again. And that's what I don't want at World Cup. Also, what's his motivation like? All of that's going to come into question, and that's probably going to be the first questions that people are going to ask Coach Rob when he goes to the West Indies. We're going to have to monitor him now going into the IPL and see how he plays in the IPL. That can really change a lot of people's mindsets on where we're at with Quinton de Kock. Lorenzo says, I'm going to use Travis Head once again as an example. The guy and Riley are exactly the same in terms of consistency, but they always tend to come off in big games, and when they do, it's magic. But Riley doesn't always come off in big games. That's the thing. Sometimes he comes off in a game that where we end up losing the game, or the team hasn't done anything around him. I want him to do well in games when maybe there's a good opening stand, and we got off to a good start, and then he comes off and performs, and performs. Um, Sometimes we lose the matches. Okay, that's not always up to him though. Um, but I see what you're saying. I understand the Travis Head, um, the Travis Head example and comparison. Glenn says, let Bellingham concentrate on Test cricket for now. Lawrence saying, especially since he was ready to call it quits in all formats for South Africa. Yeah. Sabi says, when is they playing their next game? The next game will be in May. South Africa tour the West Indies in May. So I don't know. Let me just check if I can find the exact date. Can't find the exact date. I just know that it's going to be in May. Sorry, guys. Riley train has passed for me. I'm having Stubbs right now. You'll bring consistency as well. I'm after that consistency because there can be a player that's X factor and has consistency is what I'm looking for in that number 3 spot. It is also a bit more consistent than Riley right now, says Lawrence. Abhinav says, why South African players are preferred leagues over Test cricket? It's not leagues, it was the SA20. The contract, it was the contract that they needed the money. The money, CSA, I think it was. I think it was because of CSA. I don't think it was the players. I think it was pressure from CSA because CSA needed the Proteas players to play in the SA20 because literally the brand won't be the same if the South African players aren't playing. The SA20's brand is almost pointless if you don't have the Proteas players playing in the SA20. It literally there would be no point to call it even an SA20 if you don't have the Proteas players there. So CSA is in need of financial fluency and getting more money in, and the SA20 is a big part of them doing that. So they needed their Proteas players to play. Aidan Markram was asked it in the press conference, and he said he would have he doesn't necessarily like the decision that was made, but um, he would have loved to be in New Zealand and playing Test cricket, but their hands were forced, and you can't really blame the players. You have, it's on CSA that one, and CSA and SA20 have to sort out the issues. Lorenzo says in T20 cricket, you'll never have consistency when you're an X Factor player. That's why it's called X Factor. It's for people who can create carnage from absolutely nowhere, and that's what Riley brings you. But I feel that someone like Tristan Stubbs can do what Riley Rousseau does, but also do it consistently. So we yet to see at the international level yet if he can do it, but I feel that he possibly could. I just would like to see some consistency from players in that number 3 slot rather than only having an X Factor player. I think Quinton de Kock is already a X Factor player at the top of the order almost, because he doesn't score consistent runs in T20 cricket. He will win you a game here and there. Any news on Faf's comeback? It's going to be spoken about. I personally, I don't know. I would like to see us move on and rebuild the team, but I think they will speak to him. I think Coach Rob will speak to him. That's my gut feeling. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for this Q&A session. Really enjoyed it. It's good to talk to you guys and for you guys to ask me questions. I enjoy it. In the future, maybe we can ask some questions, non-cricket related, as one on top of it to make it a little bit more fun if you want to. But for today's show, I've been Khalid. Thanks a lot for watching the show. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers, guys. Please help us get there. So please subscribe and click the notification bell. I'll see you guys again very, very soon for another daily show on Monday. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend, guys. There's a lot of sport happening on the weekend as well. So enjoy it. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace out, everyone.